Metal Gear Solid 3 has a lot of systems. Change your face paint, change your camo, change your loadout, adopt new pets, eat rotten food, throw up, eat people, complement the taste. One of the more contentious systems is the cure system. As long as you aren't envenomed or have a bullet bee burrowing into your brain pan, you can completely ignore this system. Normally, you need to follow a procedure to use specific surgical items to treat your wounds, but being the nuclear soldier that he is, Naked Snake can shrug off any injury in about 5 minutes. Simply use a single surgical item on a wound, and it will heal promptly upon unpausing. Bullet and arrow wounds need to have the foreign object removed from your body using a knife. And since this doesn't consume any materials, this is objectively the correct thing to do. Heal the wound without removing the object, however, and it will remain for the rest of time. Bullets and shots stay lodged in your character model, although they are really only visible in the X-ray mode. Crossbow bolts from the Fear, however, are visible plain as day, and you will unavoidably get hit by one in a cutscene. Arrows lodged in your body will briefly phase out of existence during cutscenes, but they will return when it ends, and you can carry these trophies all the way to the end of the game. So let's become a pincushion. If anything gets stuck in my body, I'm not taking it out. This might sound like a breeze, but there are a few speed bumps that really spice it up a bit. Also, I'm not going to eat anything that is not actual human food, and contrary to popular belief, that does include Russian rations. Also, I'm going non-lethal. Ish. This game is weird about what is and is not counted as a kill, but basically I won't be shooting anyone to death or slitting any throats, and wild animals don't count. I already did this run last year. There's a few glimpses of it in my AC2 video. But the footage was kinda scuffed, because somebody forgot there was an official HD PC port. Normal difficulty because I want to actually be able to survive taking a lot of wounds, and higher difficulties would prevent that. And as Nurbit would say, with all that out of the way, let's begin. The opening cutscene and radio call of this game take like 30 minutes. While getting footage, I was able to do the dishes and brew a cup of orange pico. To break up the pacing ever so slightly, we're sent about 30 feet to fetch our backpack. While this is supposed to tutorialize the backpack mechanic, I think a lot of people just completely ignore it. Basically, any item you collect is put into your backpack, but to actually use it, you have to equip it to your belt. Items on your belt drain your stamina during actions at a rate determinate to their weight, which is provided in kilograms. The more kilograms equipped to your belt, the faster your stamina drains. I recommend everyone immediately go into their backpack and unequip their active sonar, motion detector, anti-personnel sensor, and directional microphone, as they weigh a lot of kilograms, but they all kinda suck in their own special way. Great tools for first playthroughs, I suppose, but at the risk of sounding cocky, I have basically every enemy position memorized. The camo system sure does exist. Fleck Tarn is the most multi-purpose camo. Guess we couldn't afford multicam. And for the face paint you want... no comment. You generally want woodland camo. This is the subsistence version of the game, more or less, and in the base game, Tiger Stripe is your friend. During the Virtuous mission, the cure system is entirely turned off because it hasn't even been tutorialized yet. The enemies here are so toothless that even trying to get wounded, it can be kinda difficult to die. There's a lot of nifty toys in this pre-nuke version of Selenino Yarsk. You can get a sniper rifle, an M16, a shotgun, there's thermal goggles, and they all get deleted like 15 minutes later.
The enemy! He's here! Where'd he go?
And now we own the place. A silenced tranquilizer gun fundamentally solves the game. True in any Metal Gear game except one. It's balanced by silencer durability. Back to cutscene land. This game definitely has a slow start. And here it is, the cure system. Your stamina is forced too low to recover wounds here, so you actually have to do the surgery. It's not complex. Cuts require bandages, sutures, disinfectant, and styptic. Gunshots require the knife, disinfectant, and styptic. Burns require ointment and bandages. bone breaks need bandages and a splint, and arrows need the same treatment as gunshots. Since you only ever need to use one surgery item per wound to get a quick heal, this means that you can optimize the usage of materials by prioritizing a type of material by wound type. Sutures are only needed for cuts, so that's what we'll use. Splints for bone breaks, ointment for burns, disinfectant or styptic for gunshot wounds and arrows. Bandages can sorta make up the difference for lacking materials, as they are the most used, but since I'll mostly be taking gunshot and arrow wounds, styptic and disinfectant are the limiting factor. It's possible to find and scrounge medicine from enemy bases or plants in the wild, but the raw amount is rather limited, and you usually clear the game using only the supplies you started with. When you're not a crazy person doing a challenge run for the lulz, the starting supplies are beyond generous, as wounds are uncommon. Of course, surgery isn't actually necessary. Save the game, turn it off, and come back a few hours later, and Snake will have taken a power nap long enough for his bones to snap into place. One of many concessions placed in the game to smooth over any excessive difficulty or complexity resulting from the game's survival systems, although the limits imposed by these survival systems are never significant enough to warrant it. In the canon of the game, Snake is actually doing this whole mission with multiple broken ribs, and I think a broken arm and leg. I don't think 1 week in an ICU is enough to recover from that all the way to fighting fit, but it is a nice way to justify him needing more constant medical attention than during the Virtuous mission. Recovering from wounds actually increases your maximum health pool. It's a substantial benefit to get injured early and often, although due to the health regen mechanic, I've never found dying from HP hitting 0 to be the biggest worry. If I die, it's to a crocodile's death roll or a pitfall or something. Right, enough about the cure system. For now. Take a good look at this M1911. It's an entirely different model from the one we get in 5 minutes. They made an entire gun for 2 screens and half a cutscene. All that Boss is actually trying to say here is that you should be more loyal to what's better for the people of your country than what the leaders of the country dictate, but the flowery language she uses to bury the lead is going to cause literally 50 years of continuous war. I'm pretty sure even she doesn't know what the hell she's talking about at this point. We're forced into caution without a weapon here, so I back up to the Virgin Cliffs and grab some stun grenades. I foolishly betray the almighty Flecktarn for DPM and get spotted for my trouble. The CQC slam is overpowered. Guards can counter it with a knife slash, but the effective range is about 3 times your arm's reach, so, under a lot of circumstances, it looks more like a force pull. Against aware enemies equipped with knives, it's a safer bet to just dive attack them. Oh hey, Red 9, you're looking nice today.
It's imitation, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a Chinese Type 17 pistol.
Aww. The Type 17 is a .45 caliber variant of the C96, a pistol already legendary for having a high barrel axis and length leading to an unreasonable recoil at 9mm. I don't even know how you fire one of those with one hand, but they were real guns that existed. The fact that Eva is using a Chinese imitation pistol is thematically linked to the fact that she's only an imitation from China herself. Maybe it's a bit ham-fisted.
Did we lose him? What? Not here?
Oh, god damn it. I'm wrestling with 2 things right now, both related to the no longer existing pressure-sensitive buttons from the PS2. Without pressure sensitivity to adjust my grenade throws and carefully unequip my guns after aiming, I screw up in a few places. I also just screw up in a lot of places in general because I'm bad at video games. Ah, our first combat wound. Shotguns have a very high chance of inflicting gunshot wounds. As you can see, I now have a meager handful of buckshot occupying my left dummy-thick cheek. That'll heal over time, but the shot will remain in place. On my first run doing this, I stayed here for over an hour or 2 trying to min-max the amount of lead I could get pumped into me, and this is what that looked like. There is an upper limit to the amount of entities that can spawn in this way, or at least there was back in the PS2 version. Also, a fair amount of entities that are spawned on you disappear specifically in the cure screen and only show up in normal play. It's a little jank. Alright, speed bump number 1. Welcome to the Lake of Leeches. Population? All of them. It's possible that there is some water in this pit of leeches. If a leech gets attached to me, I won't be able to remove it, so the challenge is to cross this lake without getting sucked. Thankfully, we have an item to prevent that. Bug juice. More of a repellent than a refreshing protein beverage, this stuff will reduce the chance of getting hit with bees or leeches. Either it's a really short duration or it's not total immunity, because I swear I can never trust this stuff as far as I can throw it. First gauntlet passed. If I was smart, I would just walk on out of here, but it's not a real playthrough unless you get the crocodile cap. Beautiful. These guard dogs are weirdly balanced. They don't care so much about camo index, and despite the general axiom of medicine being effectiveness equals dosage divided by weight, they wake up from tranq darts minutes faster than a fully grown human. They're hard to deal with non-lethally, and I don't think literally anyone likes killing guard dogs in any game, so their existence just kinda sucks. Welcome to Bolshia Past Base. Interesting place in that there are food stores and a weapons depot to sabotage, but this only affects the guards in the areas you came from, which you can no longer go back to the second you walk to the next screen. I do want to snag the snow face camo and destroy the hind before leaving, though. Opinions are mixed on whether destroying the gunship actually does anything, but why take the chance? Ah, the Ocelot gunfight. I get that he's basically jobbing on purpose because, well, you know, but it doesn't diminish the fact that once you're familiar with his behavior, you can play him like a damned fiddle. Using serum doesn't count as removing venom from your body, okay? This game would actually be impossible to complete without it.
Different from simply changing a clip. This reload time is exhilarating. A quick draw duel. I love it.
Oh no, the super dark cave, wherever it's here. The exit is right here. It's maybe 15 meters away. But I kinda want to get the torch before I leave. I can get the goggles later.
Snake, have you seen 007 from Russia with Love?
Split off to the right for the snow camo suit and the shotgun. Double back for some smoke grenades, and have our first meal of the day, which is Russian rations.
Disgusting.
Snake hates the taste, but unlike most other items in the game, the taste is irrelevant to the stamina recovery. They're pretty good. And then it's speed bump number 2. With almost 25 additional years of context, I now realize that the pain is doing Super Sentai poses. Maybe you can justify it as communicating through dance like how bees do, but he controls hornets. Hornets that make honey for some reason. Nobody questions it, that's just how it works. The pain has a few weaknesses. For one, his hornets hate the color white, so snow camo makes them hurt us less. Also, smoke grenades disperse his hornets for a long duration. Whenever I can manage to not have them slide off the side of the goddamn island he's standing on. Weaponized bullet bees out of his mouth. What else would it have been? These are actually the biggest obstacle to this particular run. Bullet bees don't heal over time. Leave them in, they generate a bigger wound the longer they are inside you. You die. Removal is mandatory, which means don't get hit. Hornet camo. I will never use it.
Snake, do you know the creature from the Black Lagoon?
The crocodile cap is nice for this river area here. I'm not even sure if I'm using it correctly, but why take the chance?
I want some more.
God, I hope this suppressor still has 2 shots on it. Cutting it close. There's like 5 or 6 weapons depots in the game that actually matter, and I don't think this is one of them. I'm pretty sure it only supplies the hovercraft from the previous screen, but button makes boom, so do it. Ocelot does this little parlor trick twice. Despite only having like a 1/3 chance of firing a bullet, he fires it on the 6th pull this time, and the 4th pull next time, which leads me to believe he's counting which gun he's using and emptying it. This means that he just straight up meant to kill Sokolov here and pass it off as an accident, which I'm sure would have gone really well for him. The hell? Oh right, I shot him in the exclamation point. You can do this in MGS2 and 3, but in MGS2 it just makes them catatonic. I really hate this warehouse. Even with the subsistence chase camera, it's a perfect example of the fundamental failure of the game's controls and camera. Yeah, I don't know why I thought I could make that shot either. I'm coming back through here, so I might as well blow up the food stores. Hey there, Coral Milk Snake. I mean Venomous Cobra. Damn it. Blowing up weapons stockpiles makes them switch to a handgun after emptying the magazine in their rifle. Super not impactful, but I will abuse this property later. As long as you're wearing the scientist outfit, you can cosplay as the world's most ripped astrophysicist, and the guards will just put up with that. Any other scientists, though? Instant alert. It's kinda dumb. This is another food store worth blowing up. Blowing up food stores makes guards eat anything they see instantly and also fall unconscious in a single punch. But in order for the effects to take place, you have to leave the area and come back, so it's only useful in a few places. This is the Sig Spray, believe it or not, one of the most powerful weapons in the game. On the way out, a scientist wave dashes out of his chair to spot me and then telepathically communicates to his friend 20 feet back that I'm an intruder. I can never seem to get out of this place without the bell being rung. And that's why we love the Sig Spray. Functionally very similar to just using the CQC Slam, but with less jank when used around corners. And that's why it pays to be prepared. Hope you weren't expecting a super stealth run. I like to go for a melange of action and stealth gameplay. Makes for a more fun video. And an excellent cope for just being bad at stealth. And now for the main event. The fear is why we are here. Every single time he shoots you, he generates an arrow wound. These arrows are visible and will stick out of you permanently if the wound heals without removing them. Arrow wounds need either a styptic or a disinfectant to quick heal without using the knife. So, I kinda have a limit to how many of these I can eat. Sorta. There's some secret tech. Baseline information on this fight: he's invisible when he has more than half stamina and he jumps between branches randomly, usually about 4 times, and then takes shots at you. His normal attack is to fire 3 times, but it's uncommon for more than one to actually hit you. His accuracy is bad on purpose, and there also seems to be some generous invincibility frames after getting hit. He has a volley attack where he fires many arrows in a fanning trajectory. Again, this will usually only hit you once. Not all his arrows deal poison venom, but he will specifically call out attacks that do poison venom you, and he takes only 1 shot when he does. Intended strategy: shoot him until he dies. Kinda boring, not what we'll be doing. He's much more interesting to do non-lethal. He burns through stamina constantly, and when he hits halfway, he'll hunt for food and then eat it to get it all back. So you'd think he'd be super difficult to tranquilize. Not really. This boss room is actually really well designed. There are constantly respawning rabbits, poison dart frogs, and green tree pythons. This means you can't starve him, but it does mean that you can hunt poison food, which he will then eat, preventing him from getting stamina back and creating a massive opportunity to knock him out. Also, the rabbits are a source of anti-venom, so the player will never be in a situation in which they are poison-venomed and doomed to die from the damage over time. As for the arrow wounds, simply using the knife to pry out the arrow will have it heal over in seconds, and since you can't run out of knife, he's intimidating but not actually that dangerous. Now for things to get a little cheesy. Subsistence camo patterns. They're a little overpowered. I have access to them because I selected I like MGS3 in the opening screen. I'd feel more guilty about choosing this option if it wasn't objective fact. What, do you want me to lie? OzCam reduces damage taken by 1/3. DPM doubles our health regeneration rate. Swap out to OzCam for taking bolts and then DPM to heal up. Keep him on the other side of a tree trunk while healing. He basically can't touch you. I'm not sure if DPM speeds up recovery of red health, but I might as well act like it does. OzCam is strictly worse than the sneaking suit for damage mitigation, but it is available at the start of the game. DPM is kinda just busted though. Lovely. Keep an eye on that health bar. It gets longer every time we heal from a wound, and that actually makes the fear a pretty fantastic source of maximum health. Getting wounded anywhere else is pretty inconsistent, but here, it's guaranteed. While we wait for my flesh to integrate these bolts into my body, it seems like a good time to be pedantic. Poison is the term for lacing food or drink with a toxic substance on purpose, or ingesting a toxic substance on purpose or on accident. Although you still call poison control for snake bites, which confuses the issue. This game gets it half right by calling eating poisonous food food poisoning and becoming envenomed via animal bite venom poisoning. Poison dart frogs are poisonous because they kill things that eat them. They don't have venom to sting or bite people with. But you don't get food poisoning from eating raw food. That's different. It's called stomachache. I won't have to worry about that because, to my knowledge, rations, noodles, and calorie mates simply cannot spoil in your inventory. It would have been pretty funny if Russian rations had like a 5% chance to cause stomachache, but I can see why they didn't do that. Toxic substances that come from animal bites inflict venom, not poison. In this game, venom poison is treated with serum, and food poisoning with antidote. A stomachache needs digestive medicine, which is probably just some antacids. There's also cold medicine, just like in MGS2, but actually catching a cold is straight up difficult. If you're familiar with his patterns, actually doing this gets pretty boring. I just have to be careful because there is a death pit in here that can wipe all my progress thus far if I touch it. Ask me how I know. Actually, my biggest issue with this fight is staying awake. I tend to get bored and toy with him, poisoning him for fun, clapping his cheeks on the way up the trunk, stealing the food he just hunted for no reason, watching him miss hitting a rabbit multiple times in a row. I don't really have a predefined endpoint in mind here. I guess I'll stop when I hit the maximum possible HP. This guy is actually really fun to bully. Eventually, I cap out on jungle food from stealing from him too much and have to dump it in the quicksand. It had never occurred to me to use quicksand this way, but you tend to learn at least one new thing every time you replay the game. Last replay, I discovered that naked camo has bandages applied when you use bandages on the upper body in the cure screen. Because I have ADD, I poison him a little too hard and this turns him over to phase 2 of the boss fight. Now he can make bolts rain down from directly above me, so using trees for cover doesn't work. Also, he's firing grenade bolts at me. This is why you never want to fight him lethally. He's much easier to trank. Once I decide it's time to stop toying with him, it's over in a minute. So this is my life now. And this is what I looked like in the last run. The Fears camo is honestly pretty good. Doesn't pair well with a stamina restricted run like this, and I generally don't use it anyway because it feels a bit cheaty, but I like to build my collection. God, the warehouse again.
Snake, have you heard of the last...
It's even worse sneaking through it the opposite way.
Who's that?
I can really only guess as to who actually saw me. Here's a nice bit of game design. After the fight against the guy that needs you to spend a lot of styptic and disinfectant, this little forest grove has a lot of plants that are used as styptic and disinfectant. Never even occurred to me the purposefulness of these drops until I did this weird-ass challenge run.
Hey, Yuri, I think I just saw a guy crawling by. Shut up, Johnny. It's just a dire porcupine.
I'm aware of the cabin in the woods, but it doesn't really have anything I want. In a non-lethal run, the light machine gun isn't really that useful, you see. And now for Speed Bump 3. The End shoots you with tranquilizer darts. They deal stamina damage over time, and I won't be able to remove them. So if I get tagged, I have to chase Grandpa across the jungle while rapidly falling asleep. Wouldn't be much of a problem if I could hunt for food, but remember, prepared meals only. I have a limited amount of stamina. There's at least 2 ways to skip the fight with the End, and I chose neither of them, because even I would complain in the comments about it. Thankfully, I'm pretty confident in my ability. Well, that's a good start. Anyway, this time I won't run directly at his guaranteed spawn like a jackass. The hardest part of this boss fight is picking up his trail. Once you have his trail, you can chase him down. He runs faster than you, but he...
We're just getting started.
Okay, clock's ticking.
How did you?
You love to see it. The moss camo doesn't just make you damn near invisible in this area, it also provides stamina recovery. It doesn't fully mitigate the tranquilizer, but it helps. It's a really nice touch that on New Game, you can use this guy's own camo against him if you're good enough.
I want some more.
And I'm out of Mark 22 ammo. Time to get weird with it.
Delicious.
Gracefully, after beating the end, any tranquilizer darts currently in us are removed. I don't really know why. The knife is all you need to treat tranq darts, and it's not a limited resource. I can only speculate that since the ladder to the mountain has a tendency to drink half of your stamina on the way up, way too many players in testing were dying by falling off of it. The Mosin Nagant, my favorite World War II rifle that doesn't go ping. I'm pretty sure Snake Eater is a copyrighted song on YouTube. I'd give my own rendition, but that's definitely the part of any video that I would skip, so I'll spare you the need. Well, we have a minute, some background. This is my favorite game of all time. Right up there with RE4, Assassin's Creed 2, and Mass Effect. But this is the game I've played the most. Probably at least once per year, and like 20 times back when it was new. I did this whole run last year, and some of the footage from it crept into the Assassin's Creed 2 Hidden Blade run, but the footage was not great, and I moved on to doing the Elder Scrolls Millionaire run. This Pincushion run is something I've done quite a few times now, but it's easier on subsistence. I really wanted to do a single action army only run since it's the only gun that never leaves your inventory, but realized that would probably be a brick wall when going up against the pain. I also wanted to do a knife and fork run, but again, the pain. Maybe we can make a Kagranax tool style exemption for the pain. Let me know how you feel about that in the comments. I would love to do regular challenge runs of this game. I can literally play this game multiple times a week and feel right at home. I've played it at least 40 times now. You might think that would mean that I'm good at it by now, and, well, I'm good at the bosses. Regular-ass guards still trip me up a lot. Now, the Mosin Nagant. I'm fresh out of Mark 22 darts, but thankfully this is a tranq-modified sniper rifle. It's not silenced, so our intrusion in the mountains is going to be less than subtle. I shake everyone for ammo and get nothing. Then everyone decides to start waking up at the same time.
Please don't! Who's that?
I always knew I was a god. Yep, that's me, waiting for this guard to turn around. Sneak up on him real quick. Yeah, so the problem with the SIG spray is that people hear you spraying it and get alerted before they fall asleep. It's usually better to just CQC slam them, as unsubtle as it feels. Oh, you're joking, that's a thing? And now back to the wall. Whatever, I'll just run past. They give you bullets for the unsilenced sniper rifle here. Everyone can hear it, and there's a guard behind that wall, so it will cause a caution state. But, nah, screw it. Look, you can't just give a man a bolt-action vintage sniper rifle and tell him to not use it.
Who's that?
Damn it. Got him in the hand. Well, I'm coming back through here, so... I really should just use the CQC slam, but the SIG spray feels cooler, you know?
The food of the future. A well-balanced meal for the space age.
Lady, that is a Mr. Noodles. It's 180 grams of carbs with an MSG packet. I wouldn't call it a well-balanced meal unless you happen to be cramming for finals. I'm too full up to grab Eva's Insta-Nudes. Right. I forgot you can dispose of food from the food menu. That thing with the quicksand was... that was all in my head. I'll keep the spatsa. You can use those to put people to sleep. I love these flamethrower enemies that show up here and only here. There's 2 of them. You know, this game only came out like 3 years after MGS3, but it has all the telling hallmarks of a game that spent a decade in development hell. There's entire enemy types that were obviously made for a much larger version of the game than we got. Last time the Fury kicked my ass hard because I had wasted all my life medicine on the fear. Let's see how it goes this time.
Taste! Damn it! Feel nice. My shoot's been ripped. Taste! Son of a bitch!
I didn't even take damage. Okay. Pretty sure I forgot to pick up the fire camo, but whatever. Groznyj Grad. I love this place. You don't spend as long here as you'd maybe want, but it's pretty big and plays into all the mechanics of the game pretty well. You definitely want to knock out the ammunition depot and the ration stockpile because you'll be sneaking through this place 3 times.
Answer me. This area is huge.
Handkerchief hasn't gotten much use yet. I never existed.
Speak.
The armory. Northwest.
It was all a dream. It was all a dream. Oh, god damn it.
Answer me.
The provision storehouse. Northeast.
I was a figment of your imagination. Oh, he heard me crawling. Great. I swear, I can never seem to get to this ration stockpile without this specific guy pulling some nonsense. I know I'm supposed to take these ducts to get here, but I can never remember which one goes where. Delta, the remake of 3 that should be releasing a week or 2 after this video launches, has added crouch walking to the game, to make sneaking a little more fluid. But this game does have the spirit of crouch walking. It's called stalking. You can move with a decent-ish camo index while standing up and not making any footstep noises. You can also stalk while crawling, but you can't stalk while crouched. The problem is that stalking while standing or crawling is absolutely goddamn glacial. It's tuned to be maybe 20% faster than the casual saunter of a patrolling guard, so if a guard is not on alert, you can catch up to them over like 20 seconds. And while it's fun to do once, I don't want to do it 200 times. You made it up. Who, where, and how? Throw this spatza. No takers? Please ignore the heavily penetrated cardboard box.
Huh? Footsteps.
Alright, screw this. Once again, the scientist outfit grants me limited access to the research wing without needing to worry about stealth. This time, all the dorks are isolated to their own areas, so it's pretty hard to get caught. There's Raiden. If I get lucky, yes, there he goes, straight up to the locker room. Sig spray, gets him every time. Now we've got carte blanche to do literally anything within Groznyj Grad, so I'm gonna go blow up that weapons depot. I think the bloodhounds can still expose you, so we'll give them a wide berth. Gets old faster than you'd think. I guess this place kinda always looks like this. I'll go into more detail if I ever do one of those 4-hour-long brief retrospectives of this game, but the Shagohod needs 3 miles of high-quality tarmac. 3 miles. That's longer than your standard commercial airport. And the drill treads will destroy the tarmac in the process. And it has to be facing the correct direction. But, ooh, you don't need to build a missile silo like an ICBM. A missile silo is a hole, man. You can cover them up. You reinvented an ICBM, but worse. The only reason Volgin invested in this thing is because he is a gigantic moron. And I can prove it.
The secret fund established by the 3 great powers during the 2 world wars. $100 billion! Philosopher's legacy is safely in my possession. In the underground vault of Groznyj Grad.
At the moment, there are 5 people in this room. Only one of them is not a double agent currently working to undermine and betray Volgin in order to steal his legacy, and that person is Volgin. And he just said, out loud, where he is keeping $100 billion.
In the underground vault of Groznyj Grad.
Just for fun. Let's adjust that for inflation. $1.04 trillion as of the writing of this script. According to Google, just shy of half the current circulation of USD in the world. And Eva visibly picks up on this and immediately sets out to steal it. This is the dumbest man alive. I'm honestly insulted that he must be able to read, write, and do math because he's clearly a great accountant. Alright, speed bump number 4. I am very hungry, and I don't have any real food. You're supposed to use the fork to eat that rat, and it respawns after you talk to Johnny, so it would get you all the way to full. Maybe you'd think that prison food would be Russian rations, but no, it's tree frogs and other random nonsense they'd serve in a state prison or school cafeteria. Also, there's some new stuff in my body. A fake death pill in my knee, courtesy of the boss, and a transmitter in my back from Ocelot. They have to stay there. Not much to do in this cell but play with my gun. No idea how I'm actually doing this. Johnny hands us the sig spray, and then it's time to go.
Huh? What? You don't want this?
Smoke grenades. I might need those. The rumbling of my stomach can actually give away my position.
Who's there?
The rumbling of my stomach can actually give away my position, so I need to be careful.
What's this box doing?
The box always betrays me in this game. A single Russian ration found discarded in the sewers. Good enough for me. Hey, where does this go? Oh, nowhere. Okay. We put it off for too long, but it's time for Ocelot to introduce us to his dad. Always a chore to deal with the in-laws. The Sorrow is a total joke if you're running a non-lethal run. You just walk past the 4 members of the Cobra Squad and dodge the occasional jump scare Hadouken. Speed bump number 5. Admittedly, a really small one. Because I still have a transmitter blasting 0.5 G out of my back, the Ocelot unit are here. But I have smoke grenades. I've grown fond of using them here because you really just need to get to the waterfall and smoke grenades will stop them from shooting you long enough to get there. Not that getting shot is a problem. At this difficulty with this maxed out health bar, I could probably stand directly in front of them for several minutes without dying. Okay, that doesn't count.
There, a transmitter.
Doesn't count.
With just this much, you could blow up the Shagohod and the lab along with it.
That's not true, and this entire plan doesn't work. Speed bump number 6. Eva ate all my goddamn food. I don't know how she keeps that 22-inch waist of hers when she apparently eats 6 cup noodles, 4 calorie mates, and a dozen Russian rations every day. But at least she didn't steal any fries off of my plate. I could just shoot them all in the head one by one, but let's get experimental. I happen to know that those box trucks can move you around the place. Box C doesn't work here. I guess this is where Box C is shipped to. Oh my god, this is exactly where I needed to go. Box A? Let me make a note of that. One of these lockers has the maintenance uniform. It functions the same as the scientist uniform, but with the blue collars instead.
What is the philosopher's legacy? Very well. I'll explain it before I kill you.
Dude does not have 2 entire brain cells. It's inspiring.
There is nothing America can do to stop us. Boss, take this someplace safe. This is a once-in-a-lifetime battle. Let's make it a good one.
Hold on, let me just get comfortable. Lovely. Ooh, he's spicy. So, Volgin's fight is funky in that you want to stay close to him. The tracking on his attacks is stronger the further you are. Classic Dark Souls 1 gameplay. If you keep strafing, he can't deal with it. The only attack that he has that can beat strafing is his machine gun palm, but he's fully vulnerable during the whole thing. It takes me a minute to remember the vulnerability windows. His lightning bolt attack is so easy to dodge on accident that I keep overthinking it and dodging right into the damn thing. Oh shit, I forgot about the timer. This fight is actually something of a faux pas because he is a waiting puzzle that is also on a strict time limit. He's actually very similar to Krauser from RE4 in that it's best to fight him hand to hand, and he can simply decide to waste time on the countdown if he doesn't like you today. Ah, so close. Well, now I remember the patterns. I really should do a full playthrough as a refresher before doing these challenge runs. The static field on him lasts a little longer than you'd think when he prepares the machine gun palm, but funnily enough, it barely does any damage and it gives you enough invuln frames to power through the bullets. This floating bullet attack needs to be countered by going prone, and he can sometimes do it like 3 times in a row. It's a bit obnoxious. Cold War uniform. Worst camo in the game, bar none. Alright, are you ready for the worst rail shooter you've ever seen? Well, it's not too bad. You basically can't die during this whole section, but wow, shooting moving targets from a moving platform that you don't control with a joystick and awful aim acceleration. I'll just get the RPG out and get some free damage on the Shagohod during this auto-scroller. Damn it. That's a reset. Hey, Volgin, how's it going? I wonder if the SIG spray works on him. Fascinating. I walked away from the screen to do jumping jacks for this section. Turns out you actually do need to do some shooting of the bad guys to progress. Shooting these guys on motorcycles and causing them to crash is not considered murder so long as I do it with tranq darts. 300 miles per hour. That's how fast I'd need to be going in order for him to not catch up. On a motorcycle. With a sidecar. Sniping the explosives on the bridge can be done without the SVD. I've tested it, but man is it not consistent. I think a single-action army run is feasible, but I'm not looking forward to actually trying it. Okay, time for a massive brain fart. Volgin has a stamina bar here, and you're meant to tranq him. But because he's basically integrated his flesh with machine, I no longer consider him human, and instead decide to treat him to one of these. I will get 1 kill on the final score screen, and this will be it. I don't know what to tell you. He was gonna die anyways, or, like, be comatose and haunt the wrong person in 20 years. One of those two things. Making these guys on sky mopeds explode against trees is considered non-lethal. Flak cannon laying into an unholy amalgam of man and machine? Lethal, apparently. Speed bump number 7. Eva needs to suck down about 2,000 calories every 10 minutes because of her fresh wound, and I have 6 rations. I could say, oh well, I only said I would eat prepared food, but I'm going for it.
This tastes like crap. Yuck.
Stun grenades for everyone. If there is a single soul within 5 miles without tinnitus in the next 20 minutes, I haven't done my job.
Slip and fall off a cliff, she'll follow right behind.
Not the biggest lie that Zero has told me today.
No good.
What did you give me? I'm gonna puke.
Speed bump number 8. The Snake Eater theme is copyrighted and plays during this fight. I have to finish it before it starts playing.
See what you're made of. Brace yourself. Brace yourself. Time to play rough. Heads up, Snake. Get ready. See what you're made of. You've gotten stronger. Get ready. Heads up, Snake. He's gone. There you are. Break.
See? Overpowered. The gun on the left has the bullet. But I forgot that you're supposed to lose the challenge in order to get the SAA for New Game Plus. Always rotate your saves, folks.
That was fun.